This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
And I'm Heather Branch, here with Brandon, asking for his insight on ways you can be working now to better prepare for your financial future. You can start your conversation with Brandon. Visit us at bowenwealth.com to get started. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there. Or again, it's bowenwealth.com. All right, we got to do a little dooming and glooming. Per your request, shall I say?
I mean, it's healthy.
It's healthy.
We got to talk about some.
We got to talk about some realities that the reality pills we all got to swallow. The term soft landing has been tossed around, to say the very least, over the past few years. So
we're talking toilet paper?
Right. If only. Well, toilet paper is one of the things that started it all, the inflation because of the lack of toilet paper.
Yes.
In 2020. So again, for the last few years, the phrase soft landing has been on the tongues of economists and financial experts all around when the idea of dealing with inflation and how the Fed is dealing with it. Because the idea is when the Fed raises interest rates, they do so slowly in an attempt to fight inflation, but also the slow rate raise is to do it without causing a recession. That's goals, create this quote unquote soft landing. Do I have it all correct? You're the one that you're the financial person here. I'm like, I'm trying.
Hit a bell. You got that right so far.
Thank you. Okay. Feeling good about myself. So JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, let's blame Jamie for the doom and gloom here. He's the one that offered his gloomy outlook to the Wall Street Journal when he said this.
Things may not go as well as people expect. The odds of a soft landing, the market kind of prices in 70%. I think it's half of that. You know, as a business person, I try to be prepared for all of that. It looks a little bit more like the 70s to me. And I point out to a lot of people, things looked pretty rosy in 1972. They were not rosy in 1973. So don't get lulled into a false sense of security because the today looks okay, that tomorrow's going to be okay. So just trying to separate the two.
Man, he just had to bring up the 70s, though, didn't he? He just had to do it. All right.
Yep.
So thoughts on this notion, Brandon? Do you agree that there is a false sense of security about the economy? What are you telling folks in the office?
I do agree with Jamie Dimon. What he was saying is he's saying that he thinks that the chance of a soft landing, of a rosy end to this, he said, I cut those chances in half. Okay. So he's getting very pessimistic. Yeah. And then he mentioned the 70s. So yes, we can all, I know a lot of my clients, they're quick to tell me about those Jimmy Carter years.
Well, that's the thing, is that a lot of people that are boomer age and going on up, they remember the 70s. Yep. Even if they were young at that time, they remember what, maybe their parents dealt with.
They tell me the interest rate on their first house. That's because it's like, it was like putting it on a credit card these days.
Yeah. Were interest rates at the time like upward in the double digits, like 10%, 12%, 15%?
Yeah. I mean, people were doing...
Everybody whining right now about 7% interest rates. Like, we're cute.
Right. It was, 14, 16, I've heard. I mean, just terrible interest rates. But things weren't inflated like they are, right? That was on a house that cost $75,000.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Big difference. So back then, the Federal Reserve Chairman was Volcker, was who was there. And so Volcker, I've even watched interviews when he talked about how he had to get inflation under control, and they had to keep raising interest rates, just like what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
And so the reason that they were raising those rates is because I believe we have to have widespread pain that's going to cause us to not pay, these current inflated prices for everything.
Because right now we're taking it as consumers. We're still buying this stuff.
Yes, we're still buying crazy things. We're still overpaying for houses, right?
Yeah.
All these things that are, inflated up, we're still buying them.
Yep.
So that's the problem. And only after we have high unemployment, I mean, Volcker had it at like 10%. I remember he was talking about how there were marches going on in the streets and people wear buttons, and there was like 10% unemployment. That's crazy. Hopefully we don't have to get anywhere near that now, but unemployment's got to go really high and a deep market crash. Right. So once these things happen, okay, now people will not overpay for stuff, and that's going to cause inflation to come back down.
Got it. Yep.
So, that was that's our pessimism here for the day. And I would say,
our daily dose of reality here on Charleston's Retirement Coach.
But I'm the most optimistic guy that you're going to meet. Okay.
You are,
right. Hopefully, if you've listened to for a while. Yeah. Yes, I'm very optimistic, but my planning, your planning must be pessimistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Because your retirement success, we cannot leave it up to chance. And if I have people come in and they've got their reports that their current person ran, and they've got these Monte Carlo simulations, and it says, there's a range, a cone of likelihood. And I'm right there, it says I should be okay. And I'm like, how's that feel? And they're like, that's why I'm here. It's like, I should be okay. I wonder if there's more. And so this reminds me, so I've got a potential client. I'm meeting with them right now. Super nice couple. Yeah. They live out on one of our nice beaches here. So I want to be him one day. Them out there, plays golf, all this stuff. Well, they've saved $3.5 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for you.
Have done a tremendous job.
Yeah.
But the problem is, he brought a statement in and he goes, can you analyze this for us? And I've got it. I just we haven't met yet to show the results. And so what I'm going to be sharing with him is that they are 80% exposed. Okay.
Jeez.
80%.
80% of their $3.5 million in savings is market risk.
Yeah. 2.8 million of the 3.5 is in volatile U.S. and international equities.
Wow.
Okay.
And they didn't know? They didn't realize?
Right. And I'm going to say, no wonder you were feeling like this ride was a little too fast here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too volatile, this roller coaster. Like, wow, 22. I mean, that thing went down kind of quick.
Did it?
And so that's his number one concern. He said, Brandon, my concern is in this next crash, we lose 30, 40, 50% of our hard-earned savings.
Yep.
Right. So what if Jerome Powell now doesn't see inflation coming down and he's forced to keep rates higher for longer?
Yep.
Okay. He's going to do that until something starts to break. Things have got to start breaking in our economy. I believe it's going to be in the real estate sector first, maybe corporate real estate, then residential, just because these interest rates stay high and they're going to have to start handing the keys back to the banks, So I think that's where we're going to start seeing it. So that's their number one concern, is a market crash. And number two, he said, we want to minimize, of course, our tax implications when we start pulling money and start really enjoying retirement here. And of course, wealth transfer down the road. So thinking just like he should. Okay. So we sat down there and now when they come back in, we're going to be reviewing numerous low or no risk strategies to make sure that he stays wealthy. Okay.
Got it.
And that's the thing, you listening, right? We want to, if you're already wealthy, we want to make sure we stay
there.
Yeah. So not only do we want to just preserve your wealth, but we've got to make sure that keeps up and hopefully beats inflation.
Okay.
Moving forward, right? So your money can't retire.
Right.
You can retire, but your money can never retire, right? So we got to keep that. You can't just go to cash or, a money market. Although that is quite attractive right now, we know that's not great long term, right? What we're doing for them is think about this, is diversification is key. Okay. That is key. We're going to be,
when you say diversification, hear us now. That does not mean having different kinds of stocks. Because that to me is that is the perfect example of stuff we don't realize when we're in our 30s, 40s, and 50s and we're in growth mode. We talk about diversification and it's like, well, I've got Verizon and I've got Coca-Cola and I've got that's diversification in a growth portfolio. But now we're in retirement. We're in our 50s, 60s, 70s. We need a different kind of diversification.
Yes. And this client here, this one thing I'm going to show him in this report too, is when I go down to the cross-pollination segment here, it shows like Apple. Apple's in like his top 12 holdings. So those mutual funds that he has, they're all holding the same stuff. Yep. Okay. Yep. So if you're wanting to avoid maybe the tech sector, well, it's littered.
You're holding one of the tech sector in all of these different.
All of it, yes.
Wow.
Yes. So there's no way for him currently to avoid certain sectors, the 11 sectors in the market and things like that. So we've got to get much better integrity in that portfolio. So don't think, well, I'm diversified. I got 12 mutual funds or 12 ETF, so we still need to make sure that they're holding different sectors of the market.
Got it. Okay.
So for him, we're looking at, dividend portfolios, dividend stocks, alternatives are great options. Bank notes, structured notes, also known as they're no fee annuities are tremendous, the best I've seen in 15 years now.
Because of the high interest rates.
Because of the high interest
certain
rates.
Circumstances can change opportunities. That's another reason to seek some advice on what opportunities you might have that you don't even know are out there.
That's right. And it's important to know that there's no perfect product out there, but I do believe that we can build the perfect plan with diversification based on your goals and objectives. Okay.
Yep.
So if you're listening and you might be thinking, why in the world do I keep going all in every year, right? Gambling maybe 80% or 100% of your money like you were 40 or 50 years old. It's time to call that time out. I keep referencing here and saying, okay, honey, look at this. We've already won the game. We got $1 million, 1.5, 2 million, whatever the case may be. You guys might have already won the game based on your expenses and how much you need in retirement. Okay. So if you've already won the game, I say, why keep playing it? Every week and every month that you keep your portfolio exposed, you're just running that risk, just like in Vegas. Okay. I believe it's much wiser to start putting up some guardrails, some one-way valves on your money, start assigning a purpose to the placement of those funds so you can start enjoying your money. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just on a flight 2 weeks ago, actually, and I splurged and I upgraded to first class.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, God, this is nice.
So nice up here.
This is nice up here, first class. And the thought of like, I want you to start flying first class, because if you don't, your kids are going to fly first class. Okay. When you pass this money on to them, because maybe you didn't have confidence to spend it. Okay. You were just gripping tight onto armchairs here and you didn't want to spend it. And you kept fighting with your spouse about what we could buy or not buy right now, but you got 7 figures in the bank and in the portfolio. Okay. That just tells me you don't have a plan that you're confident in. Yeah. So I want you to equal parts, enjoy your money, be smart about it. Let's design that legacy so it lasts 2 and 3, maybe 4 generations here. Thinking of grandpa and grandma. I mean, what better way to utilize that money? So if this sounds like you and you know that you need this second opinion, head on over to bowenwealth.com and click on the contact tab so we can begin this process with you right now.
We also have links posted in the show notes. If that's more convenient, you can just click there, or again, find us anytime at bowenwealth.com.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.